please rise for the passing of the colors and the singing of the national anthem by Miss Nora Cotter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts they watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Good afternoon to everyone. On behalf of the university community, I want to welcome you to the 2013 Fall Graduate Commencement exercises. We are pleased to have with us today representatives from Virginia Tech's Board of Visitors. Board members are appointed by the governor, and Virginia Tech has been fortunate to have a record of appointees who bring to this voluntary service a deep and genuine commitment to the university. And I'm honored to recognize our board members who are here. Dr. Nancy Dye, if you would stand when I call your name, Mr. Cordell Falk, and three representatives to the board, Dr. Joe Marola, faculty representative, Ms. Sue Teal, staff representative, and Mr. Nick Warrington, our graduate student representative. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing these individuals. Thank you. This afternoon, we are pleased to recognize and to celebrate with our graduate students. We are here to honor you, and this ceremony signifies a tremendous achievement, a celebration of your talents and of your skills and of your hard work. And we look forward with great anticipation to learning of your continued progress and your future accomplishments. I'm sure that you will continue to display the Hokie spirit and always be part of the Virginia Tech community. As you know, the degrees that you are about to receive are the highest that any student may earn. It's also important to note that these students would not have achieved their goals without the teaching and guidance of the faculty. So I'd like to ask the faculty to stand and be recognized for your contributions. Please, faculty, stand up. Thank you. There are many faculty and staff members who've worked tirelessly to make this commencement a celebratory event. Many are serving as ushers and marshals today and have taken on additional responsibilities to support this special occasion, and I want to thank you for that. We all know that behind each graduate student is a supporting cast of family and community members, and I'd like for the family and friends to stand so we can congratulate you as well. Please. Thank you. Graduate students are extremely important to the university's research and scholarship mission. The university offers graduate degrees in 89 master's and 70 doctoral areas in 8 colleges, and its student body represents nearly 50 states and 120 nations. During the summer and fall semesters, 1,156 students earned advanced degrees, and this includes 768 master's, 19 education specialist degrees, 3 doctorates of education, and 287 PhD degrees, in addition to 79 advanced graduate certificates. We have approximately 300 graduating students participating with us today. At this time, it's my pleasure to present Virginia Tech's Senior Vice President and Provost, Dr. Mark McNamee, who will introduce the graduate student speakers and today's commencement speaker. Dr. McNamee.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Christopher Perel, our graduate student speaker. Christopher received his doctorate in computer science at the end of the summer session. He's earned many accolades throughout his graduate career and was selected for several very prestigious fellowships, including the National Science Foundation Fellowship and the university's own John Pratt Fellowship and George and Gladys Cunningham Fellowship. His interests are focused on systems biology and machine learning. He was a member of the research group headed by Professor T.M. Murali, and he won a Best Paper Award from the top professional society in that field. And he was admitted into the highly selective Upsilon Pi Epsilon Honor Society for computing and information systems disciplines. He is currently a senior data scientist at Red Owl Analytics in Baltimore, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Christopher Perel.
Thank you for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, graduates, professors, family, and friends. Thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. During my first year of graduate studies, my mentor and academic advisor, Murali, encouraged me to apply to 4 prestigious federal fellowships. I spent several months carefully crafting the myriad of essays required for these applications, submitted, and waited. The reviews and results started arriving about 6 months later. I'm sure my fellow graduates will recall from their own experiences that these letters usually get straight to the point, whether they be in response to our graduate school applications, fellowships, conference and journal submissions, or more recently, job applications. And sure enough, letter 1 came in and began, unfortunately, well, I don't have to read the rest of that letter for you to know how it turned out. Letter 2, despite your highly reviewed application, right, no acceptance there. Letter 3, we regret to inform you. You get the picture. The first 3, despite promising reviews, were rejected. Well, that's okay. Murali and I recognized heading into the process that these were highly competitive, with acceptance rates often as low as 5%. I was still a little bummed out about it, but Murali encouraged me that rejection is okay. More importantly, that I should get used to it. I could never fault him for being honest. This was one of the first and most valuable lessons I learned from my advisor. Things aren't always going to go well, and we're going to run into obstacles during our academic careers. What's important is that we accept this reality, learn from each experience, and use it to keep moving forward. The 4th notification from the NSF Graduate Research Fellowship Program arrived much later than the first 3. Upon opening the letter, my eyes were greeted by that wonderful heading that all of us as graduates have had the privilege of experiencing: Congratulations. I was ecstatic, and with a light skim of the rest of the paper, I sprinted down the hall, beaming, to show Murali. If I recall correctly, his first reaction was to call his wife, Padma, another professor here at Virginia Tech, to share the news. Likewise, I contacted my family right away. There's something special about sharing good news with others. I think we're eager to notify those closest to us of our achievements because we each recognize that these accomplishments are never solitary efforts. Each one of the graduates sitting here today has mentors, family members, and friends to thank for supporting them through graduate school. So enjoy these moments, relish the congratulatory letters that each of you will receive shortly here on stage, and celebrate with your supporting cast. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Today I have the pleasure to introduce two co-speakers who will present the graduate address. They are both Virginia Tech alumni, and they are married to each other. Dr. Kirk Schultz is president of Kansas State University, and Dr. Noel Schultz is the Associate Dean of Research and Graduate Studies at Kansas State, where she also holds a named professorship in electrical and computer engineering. This is her second named professorship chair, as she was previously the TVA professor in Power Systems Engineering at Mississippi State University. The potential of both scholars was recognized early on, as each separately received the National Science Foundation's Early Career Award. This is one of the nation's most prestigious awards in support of junior faculty members who exemplify the role of teacher scholars through outstanding research and the ability to integrate teaching and research. They both serve in leadership roles for some of the nation's foremost engineering and technical societies. Noel is currently president of IEEE Power and Energy Society, which stands for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. It is the world's largest association for the advancement of technology. And Kirk is a fellow in both the American Society of Engineering Education and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. As president of Kansas State, Dr. Kirk Schultz is leading that land-grant university toward becoming one of the nation's top 50 research universities. Virginia Tech was quick to recognize the early accomplishments of Kirk Schultz. He was named the Outstanding Young Alumnus in 2000 and received the university's Graduate Alumni Achievement Award in 2011. Kirk graduated from Virginia Tech with a bachelor's degree in 1986 and a PhD in 1991, both in chemical engineering. And Noel graduated from Virginia Tech with a bachelor's degree in 1988 and a master's degree in 1990, both in electrical engineering. She later earned her doctorate in electrical engineering from the University of Minnesota in 1995. Please welcome Drs. Kirk and Noel Schultz.
Well, good afternoon. When Noel and I attended Virginia Tech in the 1980s, I can assure you that we never thought that one day we'd have the opportunity to return to Blacksburg and have the honor of addressing the newest generation of exceptional Hokie graduates. We sincerely appreciate the invitation from President Charles Steger and Vice President and Dean of the Graduate School, Karen DePaul. It's been great to be back on campus. Let me start by offering our congratulations to the graduates. You've worked hard to get here, many late nights working on your thesis or dissertation project when you certainly could have been doing something else. Congratulations on finishing your degree. Let me also congratulate your family members, partners, spouses, children, parents, and other people who helped contribute to the successful conclusion of your graduate degree from Virginia Tech. These members of your support network were critical to your success as a graduate student, so make sure you take the time today to personally thank each and every one of them. Last but certainly not least, congratulations to the research advisors. The relationship between a graduate student and research advisor is unparalleled in our society. I always had mixed emotions when my graduate students finished. I was happy to see them finish and move on with their lives, but at the same time felt like a family member was leaving. I urge all of you to celebrate and enjoy this special day in our lives. As Noel and I considered what we wanted to say to you today, we thought carefully about what critical skills have contributed to the success we have enjoyed since leaving Virginia Tech in 1991. We've identified 6 areas that we felt have been particularly applicable to us in our careers, and love to share those with you.
Leadership. First, seek leadership opportunities. Already you've distinguished yourself through your activities in obtaining an advanced degree. My father, a retired engineering professor from Virginia Tech, told me during my graduate student days that a graduate degree was not about intelligence, but about endurance. You have endured and shown tenacity in making it to the finish line for your master's or doctoral degree. The Commission on Pathway through Graduate School and into Careers recently released a study about graduate school education and careers. In that study, they found about 2.6 million new and replacement jobs will require an advanced degree, a 22% increase for master's degrees, and a 20% increase for those with a doctoral or professional degree. Advanced education levels are associated with higher salaries and lower unemployment rates. This highlights the fact that today's job market requires advanced experience and expertise and training to be successful. So as a graduate with an advanced degree, you start the next chapter of your life already as a leader. You've added breadth and depth to your technical expertise, allowing you to look at challenges in a different way. You have tackled more open-ended problems and projects and group activities and developed key critical thinking skills to solve today and tomorrow's problems. Many of you worked part or full-time during your graduate studies, so you've learned to juggle many balls in the air at once, as well as balance your professional and personal activities. I encourage you to take these new skills that you've learned at Virginia Tech and to put them to use in the next chapter of your life. Don't be afraid to step up and embrace your leadership opportunities.
Second, enhance and develop your communication skills. Each of you now is a highly trained professional. You're at the top of your fields and know a great deal about the subject that you spent the last 2 to 5 or possibly more years studying. You feel a great deal of satisfaction sitting in a room discussing your work with other people as highly trained as you are in your respective fields. You have honed your writing, speaking, and critical thinking skills to the point that you can present your scholarly work at a meeting of peers and receive praise from people in your field on the quality of your work. Your communications in your area of expertise can occur in many ways: writing an outstanding proposal for project funding, presenting your results at a poster session at a regional or national meeting, reaching out via email to collaborators across the globe, or presenting an oral paper at a meeting with other subject matter experts. Indeed, communication of your scholarly work to others in your field is certainly one of the key parts of a great graduate educational experience. Let me urge you, though, to continue to develop your communication skills, but by ensuring that you can communicate your scholarship and your research passion to those who are not in your technical field. Can you talk to high school or middle school students about your expertise? Can you give a 15-minute presentation to a local civic organization about your work and the impact it has on society? Can you talk about your engineering doctoral work to your colleagues in the liberal arts, where they walk away understanding fundamentally your work and its impact on our society? Conversely, can you talk about your doctoral work in the liberal arts to your colleagues in engineering, where they walk away understanding fundamentally your work and its impact on our society? Our advice to you today is to seek ways in which to discuss what you do, what you are passionate about, to a variety of audiences. Practice and learn how to communicate your area of expertise with everyone, regardless of age, technical background, or educational level. If you extend your communication skills to those around you, you will be amazed at the positive impact this will have on your career.
The third area is flexibility. Be flexible as you move through life. While your grandparents and parents may have worked for one company in one location, today as a leader in your field, through your graduate work, you'll have an opportunity for many different opportunities around the world. Sometimes in a company, there's an expected path: job 1, job 2, promotion 1, promotion 2. However, today there are many different paths to accomplishment and success. Stephen Covey says, there are three constants in life: change, choice, and principles. Be open and flexible to the opportunities you may have, such as working and living around the world, or an alternate path to get a new set of skills that will help you advance the workplace. Begin building your own skill set or toolbox with every new opportunity. Today's world includes more dual career couples working to match two sets of professional goals and activities. Additionally, we want to have it all: family, career, health, travel, and more. This means being flexible. For Kirk and me, we found alternative ways and paths along the way. For 2 years, we lived apart as I got my PhD. I took a path of leadership through an external off-campus professional organization, and Kirk took a path of leadership on campus. Charles Swindoll discusses how our attitude towards change and flexibility is key. He says, "I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. Make the best of every situation, and you will grow in your professional and personal opportunities."
Fourthly, be bold. As you move through your life and career and through various leadership opportunities, you will have to set goals for yourself, your unit, your company. It's often tempting to set moderate goals because at the end of the day, moderate or incremental goals are easier to reach. Ask yourselves, is it better to aim high and come up a bit short, or aim lower and hit the target each and every time? I will certainly argue that it is much better to aim high, knowing that you often won't hit that final goal. But in setting that sort of goal, you will stretch yourself and your colleagues to achievement that many thought would not be possible. My current job as president of Kansas State University, we spent the last several years on the development and execution of a university-wide visionary plan called K-State 2025, which seeks to move Kansas State University into the top 50 public research universities in the nation. If we look quantitatively, Kansas State will need to move up 30 spots, moving past many excellent universities who are also aspiring to greatness. It's a bold, audacious goal that will require a great plan, terrific faculty and staff, money and investment from all parties, and a bit of luck. So what happens in the year 2025 if Kansas State has not reached the top 50, but instead is number 56? I'm absolutely convinced that by stretching ourselves as an academic institution and setting a bold plan for the future, we will achieve much more than we could have if we'd set an incremental goal of maybe moving up 10 spots in 10 years. The bottom line, aim high for yourselves personally and for those around you, and you will be able to achieve things that no one thinks is possible.
Fifth, embrace your community. Kirk and I have had the opportunity to live in Virginia, North Dakota, Minnesota, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Mississippi, and Kansas. Each area has its own local flavor of community and people. When we left Virginia Tech in 1991, many of our colleagues were moving to other parts of Virginia, Maryland, or North Carolina, while we were headed to North Dakota, and it seemed a world away from our comfort zone. We have found that each area of the country, and really across the world, has unique opportunities to get involved and be part of the community. You have two choices: embrace the local character and make the most of the situation, or seclude yourself in your work and home without getting involved. While in the upper Midwest, we learned to ice skate, snowshoe, and adapt to the cold and snow. We encourage you to use your talents in helping lead in the community as well as in your career. When you will give of your time and talents, we have found that we received much more in return and enrichment through these activities and interactions. When we left here in 1991, my mother told me, who's a retired elementary education teacher, to go out and make a difference. The African proverb says, "It takes a village to raise a child." Be part of that village by helping the community to make a difference.
6, find opportunities to serve. Noel mentioned community engagement and being active in your community, but it's important that you find some way in which to give back to society. As a Virginia Tech graduate, work to follow our motto, ut prosum, that I may serve. We have 2 sons, and like many families, we shared in the parenting responsibilities. Our sons were active in many different organizations: soccer, Vacation Bible School, Boy Scouts. In general, kept us busy running around, chasing after them to different family activities. Some of you who may already be blessed with children, so you're aware of this, it was amazing to us. The same people did it all. They coached soccer, they ran Vacation Bible Schools, were scout leaders, and seemingly kept our communities moving forward. There will be many opportunities for volunteers and leaders in the community where you can make a difference. Help in areas where you have a demonstrated passion. So when you're in that new community, that new workplace, and someone asks for a volunteer to help with something, step up, take a leadership role, and start making a difference. It's not as important what you do, but that you find a way to make the world a little bit better place each and every day. So in summary, and that's what everybody's been waiting for, right? That means the end of the speech. There's 6 things. First, seek leadership opportunities. Second, enhance and develop your communication skills. Third, be flexible as you move through life. Fourth, be bold. Fifth, embrace your community. And sixth, find opportunities to serve.
Once again, we both offer a hearty congratulations to the graduates and your family, and we wish you the best of success as you leave with this traditional Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warmly on your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Best wishes to the class of 2013. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk and Noel. We appreciate your commitment to Virginia Tech, and we'll always view Kansas State as one of our great land-grant partners. I'd now like to call upon Graduate Dean Dr. Karen DePaul.
I have a script here, but I'm going to deviate for 1 second, as some of you know I do anyway, because I would like to have the family of the Schultzes please stand and be recognized. Thank you for being here. They're up top and down here. Thank you for being here. One of the great pleasures of being the graduate dean is to introduce the candidates for the graduate degrees. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the accomplishments of our graduate students. Each and every student here today has a story to share of their experiences and activities during their graduate education. We're not going to go through all of those this evening or this afternoon. You can have that at another time, but there are some incredible stories. Today, we wish to recognize and acknowledge many of you who have been an integral member of this very strong academic graduate community. Many of our graduate students qualify and receive highly regarded competitive fellowships and scholarships. So, please stand and remain standing if you have received the following: a national or government fellowship. I know you're out there. Thank you. Foundation awards, or no, keep standing. Yes, keep standing, please. Thank you. Foundation awards or scholarships. I know there's more of you. A Virginia Tech fellowship or corporate scholarship. Okay, good. Please remain standing, and please stand and be recognized if you were selected as the outstanding master's or doctoral student for your college, or if you received a graduate teaching assistant excellence or graduate student service excellence award, or the William Preston Society Master's Thesis Award, or any award provided by your department or college. Please stand and remain standing so you can be recognized as being named a Citizen Scholar, participated in our Communicating Science program, participated in Global Perspectives program, taken a number of courses through Transformative Graduate Education, were inducted into the university's Graduate and Academic and Leadership Honorary Society, Alpha Epsilon Lambda, or the IDR, Interdisciplinary Research Honor Society. Please stand if you have participated in the Graduate Student Assembly in leadership roles. You were a delegate for your department, served on a university committee, participated in graduate research symposium, presented your work at a conference, or participated in many events and workshops sponsored by the GSA or the grad school. Finally, please stand if you have ever visited the nationally acclaimed Graduate Life Center, attended a workshop, symposium, or had a class there, used the computer lab, student lounge, lived in the GLC, visited the grad school in Blacksburg or in Northern Virginia, the Writing Center, Counseling Center, or relaxed at the outdoor plaza, the Graduate Life Center. By now, you all should be standing. We congratulate you on your work, service, and accomplishments, and to acknowledge a tremendous amount of resources provided by the university in its commitment to building the graduate community. Please, another round of applause for our graduates. You may be seated. Many of our friends and families here today have sacrificed time and resources to help their loved ones attain the hard-won goal of a graduate degree. I would now like to share with you a few images of this past year that reflect some of the diversity, vitality, and experiences of our graduate students. Please take a few moments to enjoy the visual presentation, which is accompanied by an original composition by Virginia Tech professor James Sozinski. This is played in honor of our graduates by the Virginia Tech Brass Ensemble.
We will now begin the conferral of degrees. The presentation of the doctoral degree is accompanied by a special tradition within academia. The doctoral degree recipients will be hooded by their major professors. The faculty member who accompanies the student to the stage is a member of the student's research committee and in most cases is the student's major doctoral advisor. That faculty member who mentored the student and most closely supervised his or her research. By hooding the graduate today, the faculty member symbolically welcomes the graduate as a professional colleague, a professional relationship and friendship that often continues throughout the graduates' and the mentors' lives.
Will all the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Education degrees please rise? President Steger, I have the honor to present the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Education degrees.
With the power vested in me by the Board of Visitors in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Education degrees to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Will the marshals escort the candidates for the doctoral degrees and their major professors to the stage for the hooding ceremony? Professor Joe Marola will be reading the names of the doctoral recipients and the hooding professor.
Receiving the Doctor of Philosophy from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences in Animal and Poultry Sciences, Ting Lu, hooded by Professor Alan Harper. In Biochemistry, Molly Kathleen Kelly, hooded by Professor Joseph Marcy. Jessica Ellen Maitland, hooded by Professor Renee Boyer. Raul Oscar Saucedo Alderaite, hooded by Professor Joseph Eifert. In entomology, Azadeh Aryan, hooded by Professor Zach Edelman. Adam Francis Weimer, hooded by Professor Thomas Kuhar. In Human Nutrition, Foods, and Exercise, Angela Suzanne Anderson, hooded by Professor Matthew Hulver and Professor Eva Schmetz. Clarice Natien Waters, hooded by Professor Jenny Hill. In plant physiology, pathology, and weed science, Angela R. Post, hooded by Professor Sean Askew. Michelle Beth Price, hooded by Professor Sakiko Akumoto. From the College of Architecture and Urban Studies in Architecture and Design Research, Kongkun Jaran Wisan, hooded by Professor James Jones. From the Pamplin College of Business in Hospitality and Tourism Management, Bertram Bynum Bowley, hooded by Professor Nancy McGeehee. From the College of Engineering in Aerospace Engineering, Darcy Lane Allison, hooded by Professor Joseph Schetz and Professor Rakesh Kapanya. Ryan Jeffrey Coe, hooded by Professor Wayne New. David J. Grimman, hooded by Professor Farhood Mazen. John Janeski, hooded by Professor Wayne Scales. Ryan James Merritt, hooded by Professor Joseph Schetz. In Biological Systems Engineering, Jia Liu, hooded by Professor David Sample. Joseph A. Rowland, hooded by Professor Ryan Senger. In Biomedical Engineering, Caitlin Colasino, hooded by Professor Yong Woo Lee. Robert Lyle Hood, hooded by Professor Christopher Rylander. Megan K. Howes, hooded by Professor Warren Hardy. William C. Vogt, hooded by Professor Christopher Rylander. In Civil Engineering, Titi Ankasuwan Sari, hooded by Professor Sunil Sinha. Justin Bartlett, hooded by Professor Thomas Grizzard. Casey Capel D'Alessandro, hooded by Professor Karen Roberts-Woolman. Garrett Thomas Menachino, hooded by Professor Eric Hester. Wei Hao Yin, hooded by Professor Pamela Murray Tweete. Ismail Hisham Zodi, hooded by Professor Hesham Reka. In computer engineering, Amir Hilal, hooded by Professor Alan Mackenzie. Junwan Kim, hooded by Professor Binoy Ravindran. Pung Lu, hooded by Professor Binoy Ravindran. In computer science and applications, Jeremy Totten Barksdale, hooded by Professor Scott McCrickard. Christopher L. Porrell, hooded by Professor T. M. Morale. In electrical engineering, Tong Yu, hooded by Professor Mariusz Orlowski. Alvaro John Ribeiro, hooded by Professor Michael Ruhonimi and Professor Joseph Baker. In engineering education, Rachel Luis Kaifez, hooded by Professor Holly Matusevich. Manas Jean Mohammadi Arag, hooded by Professor Christopher Williams. Jacob Preston Moore, hooded by Professor Christopher Williams. Lauren Desiree Thomas, hooded by Professor Mara Borrego. In engineering mechanics, Sama Ben Ayed, hooded by Professor Saad Ragab. Haitem Ezat Mohammed Taha, hooded by Professor Craig Woolsey. In industrial and systems engineering, Jeremy Lewis Rickley, hooded by Professor Jaime Camillo. In mechanical engineering, Omar Abdulaziz Alabasi, hooded by Professor Michael von Spakovsky. Christopher Darwin Cusano, hooded by Professor Clay Gabler. Michael William Milo, hooded by Professor Michael Rohn. Mitu Panala, hooded by Professor Shashank Priya. Alexis A. Nuavela, hooded by Professor Shashank Priya. In mining engineering, Kenneth R. Griffin, hooded by Professor Cray Luxbacher. Lei Pan, hooded by Professor Rohan Yoon. Yu Chang Wu, hooded by Professor Asrian Livan. From the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences in Career and Technical Education, Bentry Nkata, hooded by Professor Bill Price and Professor Penny Burge. In Counselor Education, James Edmund Mudd, hooded by Professor Gerard Lawson. In Curriculum and Instruction, Samantha Jane Blevins, hooded by Professor Richard Stratton. Professor Jennifer Brill was the hooder, Ralph Eddie Cornwell, Jr., hooded by Professor Richard Stratton. Robin Lynn Hudson, hooded by Professor Susan Aslin. Angela Marie Watson Williams, hooded by Professor Brett Jones. In Human Development, Ro Shi Chen, hooded by Professor Fred Piercy. Monica Renee Kimbrell, hooded by Professor Peggy Mazzaros. From the College of Natural Resources in Forestry and Forest Products, Scott M. Barrett, hooded by Professor Chad Bolding. Evan Barron Brooks, hooded by Professor Valerie Thomas and Professor Randolph Wynn. Yu Juan Chen, hooded by Professor Susan Day. Nabeen Gyawali, hooded by Professor Harold Burkhart. Xiao Yan, hooded by Professor Eric Beers and Professor Amy Brunner. From the College of Science, in Biological Sciences, Robert Corey Bernhards, hooded by Professor Florian Schubach. Si-Hui Zhang, hooded by Professor Daniela Samini. In Chemistry, Yu-Min Dai, hooded by Professor David Kingston. Akiko Nakamura, hooded by Professor James Tanko. Musan Zhang, hooded by Professor Timothy Long. Shu Zhou, hooded by Professor Richard Turner. In psychology, Nuri M. Rejas, hooded by Professor Angela Scarpa. In statistics, Lulu Cheng, hooded by Professor In-Young Kim. In interdisciplinary doctoral degrees in genetics, bioinformatics, and computational biology, Chun Chen, hooded by Professor John Tyson. Dwi Susanti, hooded by Professor Biswarup Mukhopadhyay. In macromolecular science and engineering, Nippon Potite, hooded by Professor Judy Riffle. From the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences, receiving the Doctor of Education, Charles Lee King, Jr., hooded by Professor Catherine Sanamo. In educational leadership and policy studies, Michelle Savage Blunt, hooded by Professor David Parks.
Let's congratulate our new doctoral recipients. Congratulations. Before we announce the master's candidates, I would like to acknowledge those students who have earned the Postmaster's Education Specialist degree and those who have earned a graduate certificate. So if you have earned the EDS degree or a graduate certificate, please stand so we can recognize you. Congratulations. We will recognize the students who have earned a master's degree from among the 89 different master's programs that we offer at Virginia Tech. Will all the candidates for the master's degrees please rise? Yes. The master's degrees include the Master of Arts and the Master of Science in many academic disciplines. It also includes professional master's degrees in architecture, education, engineering, forestry, information technology, landscape and architecture, natural resources, public affairs and urban planning, and public health. Among the group here are also the Master of Business Administration, as well as a Master of Fine Arts. President Seeger, I have the honor to present the candidates for the master's degree.
With the power vested in me by the Board of Visitors in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I confer upon you the master's degrees to which you are entitled with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please be seated. Will the marshals please escort the candidates for the master's degree to the stage? And at this time, Professor Marola will also be reading the names of the master's degree recipients.
from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, receiving the Master of Science in Animal and Poultry Sciences, Shui Zhang. Receiving the Master of Science in Agriculture and Life Sciences, Travis Bunn. Jeanette Lynch. Ahmed Tower. Receiving the Masters of Science in Dairy Science, Stephanie Neal. Ann Johnson. Hannah Tucker. Receiving the Master of Life Sciences in Food Science and Technology, Ashley Ali. Hyun Sik Chu. Ellen Ewell. Anthony Lucas. From the College of Architecture and Urban Studies, receiving the Master of Architecture, Jennifer Strokorb. Mohammed Omar Alamodi. Hui Jan Dong. Ming Shan Sun. Sapida Bazrafshan. Bahar Mojtahidi. Noura Freidon. Meng Lu. Receiving the Master of Public Administration, Satara Graham. Gordon Barry. Matthew Montgomery. Lisha Lariviere. From the Pamplin College of Business, receiving the Master of Accounting and Information Systems, John McGuire. Timothy Marr. Vic Bajwa. Russell Hamilton. Gregory Cole. Maureen Riley. Arushi Sharma. Erdem Bileg Dendev. Eric Reiger. Receiving the Master of Science in Accounting and Information Systems, Joshua Kahn. Receiving the Master of Business Administration, Jordan Owens. Grant Walker. Laura Vinci. Charles Ware. Matthew Amantea. Joshua Bradley. Jinqing Zhang. Sasprika Hoysa. From the College of Engineering, receiving the Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering, Corrado Incerti Toci. Christian Sultan. Adam Weiss. Receiving the Master of Science in Civil Engineering, Andrew Vance. Clay Parrish. Mark Crean. Joshua Zilke. Tajendra Patadia. Christian Oliveira. Stephanie Offit. Jennifer Todd. Puwan Kumar. Daniel Wiesty. Maria Luisa Mies. Allison Yetman. Paul Johnston. Murdoch Snar. Yuen Sung Tung. Eleftheria Kontu, Ali Anvari, Megan Sparks, Shuo Xu, Miriam Andalib, Mitchell Ostrout, Rory Alfrey, Andrew Gallagher, Matthew Wild, Alisa Olsner, Suzanne DeHoratis, Peter LaRue, Christine Shepard, Dariji Gima, Sahin Faris, receiving the Master of Science and Master of Engineering in Computer Engineering, Kiran Adhikari, receiving the Master of Science in Computer Science and Applications, Navid Masjuni, Ashwin Acharya Putig, Sridhar Chandhan, receiving the Master of Science and Master of Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Thomas Plummer, Nan Wu, Jing Wang, Sri Raksha Kondaji Ramesh, Aman Singhal, Linda Nana Ngangu, Mark Lurch, Ken Atavatkan, receiving the Master of Science in Engineering Mechanics, Ayesha Alawadi, receiving the Master of Science in Environmental Engineering, Stephanie Countess, Dane Marie Greaves, Catherine Young, William Baggett, receiving the Master of Science in Industrial Systems Engineering, Ethan Larson, Christopher Guida, Jay Guao, Alexander Ledane, Margaret Smythe, Derek Maggard, James Phillips, receiving the Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, Matthew Murdoch, Hunter Gwilliams, James Yarrington, Christopher Mavarzi, Colin Ung, James Chang, Kenneth Marut, receiving the Master of Science in Mining Engineering, Sean Smith, receiving the Master of Arts in Education in Curriculum and Instruction, Kumiko Gale, Stephen Castle, Karen Jones, Katie Ellswick, William Posey III, Haley Horning, Shaima Ahmed, receiving the Master of Science in Human Development, Emily Inzana, Sarah Buckaloo, from the College of Natural Resources and Environment, receiving the Master of Science in Fisheries and Wildlife Sciences, Caitlin Carey, Megan Holcomb, receiving the Master of Science and Master of Forestry and Forest Products, Chadwick Ramsdell. Receiving the Master of Natural Resources, Jennifer Williams. Sarah Stallings. Receiving the Master of Science in Psychology, Amanda Halliburton. Receiving the Master of Science in Statistics, Wei Ma. Sarah Richards. Zhao Li. Zhao Yu Shu. From interdisciplinary programs, receiving the Master of Information Technology, Eileen Balchi. Anna Tule. John Pates. Athens Holloway. Clayton Shaw. Matthew Graham. Madhusudan Vuradi. Saravanan Parasuraman. Jason Shepard. Tammy Liu. Sao Lu. From the Virginia Maryland Regional College of Veterinary Medicine, receiving the Master of Public Health, Reed Kennedy. Christopher Vanderhoof. Sarah Hansen. Carrie Walker. Kirsten Dobson. Diana Lee Lance. And Shazadi Mirza.
Congratulations to all our new master's recipients as well as to all the graduates. Congratulations.
Now I would like to call upon Dr. Joseph Marola, President of the Faculty Senate, to bring a brief message from the faculty. Dr. Marola.
Graduates, for the next 2 minutes, I am not Professor Joe Marola from chemistry. I am Professor Every Person from every department. I bring you a few words from all the faculty. Now, as all the faculty, we've already had a lot of words. You had me telling you some words in classes. We've consulted on your various projects. Sometimes those words weren't the best encouragement. Sometimes they were disappointing, but all the time we worked together. And I just want to leave you now with 3 simple words. The first is congratulations. You worked hard, and you already showed one of the characteristics that you were told were important for success: perseverance. You went through obstacle after obstacle. Setbacks did not hold you back. So that first word is congratulations. And the last 2 words that I, as every faculty, want to leave with you is hopefully a word that you'll recognize as being very honest, because I, as every faculty person, got my position because of you. I was promoted because of you. I received recognition and awards because of you. And so if we're honest, our ranking as a university and our ranking as faculty are because of you. So the last 2 words that I, as every faculty, want to leave you with is thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I'd like to offer a special thanks to Dr. Marola as the reader of the names and to Ms. Nora Cotter and the members of the Virginia Tech Brass Ensemble for their part in this afternoon's ceremony. Now please stand until the stage party has recessed. With the recessional, our ceremony will be concluded. Thank you for joining us and have a safe trip home.